Hey loves, welcome to the monthly chakra healing videos. This is going to be the video for Aries. So I was debating, and you guys know I was debating doing whether or not I should do the weekly by sign chakra healing videos, etc, etc. And I decided, I'm just going to cleanse my hands real quick, that I'm going to do the monthly, because the one thing that I really didn't want is for my content to get diluted under like a swarm of monthly weekly videos, because I still upload like a whole lot of other content throughout the month, and I just didn't want you guys to just, you know, see just the clutter. So we're just gonna do it once a month, and then throughout the month we're gonna focus on other videos. And so we're gonna be starting with Aries, and I already pulled the cards for this. So we're gonna be pulling the way the chakra healing videos work. We're gonna be pulling cards for each chakra. Some cards, it came up 2 cards, but we're gonna take it. And then I also pulled oracle cards from 2 different decks, just to give us more insight on the energy. Aries, I will tell you, especially from last week, I feel like you guys are very anxious, but I'm gonna show you the cards, and then we're gonna talk about it. Okay, so the root chakra, and the root chakra is the Page of Pentacles and the 5 of Wands. I'm using the After Tarot, so it shows more of a futuristic energy, but you guys will get the drift very quickly, especially if you've been on my channel a lot. You'll know that I use the tarot, the After Tarot, quite often. So that's the one we're using for this one. So that was the root chakra. For the sacral chakra, we have the King of Swords, solar plexus. We have the Knight of Swords. You notice a lot of swords going on. Heart chakra, we have the Fool. The throat chakra, we have the 9 of Wands. The third eye, we have the King of Cups and the 2 of Pentacles. And the crown chakra, we have Strength and the 7 of Wands. Now for our oracle cards, we have Fire, Safe Travel. And then I wanted to pull some cards for you guys from the Isis Oracle, because I felt like you guys needed some sort of spiritual guidance. So we got a Healing the Divine Masculine, Osiris Rises, and the Dark Mysteries enter the chamber of the Dark Goddess. Okay, so this is a lot of stuff going on with you guys this month. I feel like you guys got tired of fighting for something that you've definitely fought for quite some time. And you're in a place where you're not trying to fight anymore. You're just trying to really embrace the year's about to end energy. So let me start thinking about next year. Let me start setting myself up and stuff like that. The thing about Aries energy in this type of season, because since we're going to be talking about the month of December, that's both Sagittarius and Capricorn energy. Aries and Capricorn energy are very similar energies. It's just that one moves faster than the other. And I've mentioned this quite a lot. If you've been watching my chakra healing videos for a while, you know that I've mentioned this before. Aries tends to, I don't want to say like shortcut, because it's not that. It's just that Aries tends to set an intention in regards to the journey and move a lot faster without thinking about the repercussions of, oh, what about a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now. Meanwhile, Capricorn is thinking about all of those things at once. It's not just, okay, next year's coming up. We're thinking, okay, but how is next year going to impact, how am I putting next year to impact me within the next 5 years? Like, how is next year and what I do next year, what I work on next year, what I invest in next year going to impact me for the years to come, versus where Aries is just like, okay, you know what, I decided on this, let's rock with that, and not necessarily looking at the larger picture. This is why you guys are the starting flame of the zodiac, but not necessarily the finished candle burn. You guys don't do that. You guys just start. So I feel like you guys are definitely at a point at this point of the year where you're actually thinking about that. You're saying, okay, well, what is next year gonna look like? What are the next couple months gonna look like? What do I want to work on? Is there anywhere that I want to go? What is it that, do I want to study something? Do I want to go back to school? Like, what intention am I setting in that I am going to actively put in my fire and drive to, so I can get to it as fast as I possibly can, because you guys know that you guys move really, really fast. I feel like for you guys, the fighting as far as like socially and collectively as how you've been relating to other people, it's been kind of slowly slowing down, but there's still a lot of social pressures for you guys this month. So as much as you guys just want to stop directing the energy of how you've been fighting and how you've been communicating with other people and what's not having, you know, been clear, and what other people are not getting about what you're saying and such, I feel like it's gonna start kind of slowing down and being redirected into, okay, I'm not gonna text you for a minute because I really just need to get myself sorted as far as what intentions we're setting. So you guys are definitely on intention mode. I feel like you really need to do something that connects you back to your passion though, so just make sure that it's something that you love doing or you really want to do, or else you're just not gonna, you know, be successful in it. You do have to have the fire in order to make it, like, keep it lit. So just make sure that is something that you love to do. With your sacral space, you have the King of Swords, which means that you are very much being very direct as far as your manifestation goes, which is very Aries-esque energy anyway. Just be careful with how this translates in relationships, okay? Because I feel like some of you guys, and I can tell through this reading, that you guys have been leaving some relationships, and it's kind of like, okay, I'll explain it this way. I mean, I don't want to curse in this video though, but okay, so basically I had a friend who was an Aries for like a really long time, and he anytime it got to the point where he was kicking somebody out of his life, he would tell them to F off, and that's how he would end all conversations. And it was just like, that's it, I'm not gonna say anything else to you. Sometimes it would say it jokingly in conversation with people, yes, but you would know when how he meant it and how he was saying it and what it meant, because of the tone, because of the straightforwardness. It was a very direct, just F off. And so I feel like you guys have been kind of in that energy, are gonna be in that energy moving into December. For the rest of the month, I feel like you guys are gonna be a little bit sharp with your words, so just be mindful. One of the things that Aries does really well is that you guys kind of tend to shorten your emotional thoughts to kind of like, if your emotional communication could have been a paragraph, you shorten it to like a sentence, and it's like annoying because it's like the rest of us are trying to figure out how you feel about stuff, and then you're just like, no, that's it. So just be mindful of how that's translating, especially in the sacral space. You might want to be a little bit more nurturing with your thoughts, especially in this area. You don't want to be too, I'm gonna just slice and kill you with a sword. This month it might not work that well for you, especially because Capricorn energy tends to be already a bit stern. Focus on nourishment, it's self-nourishment, and if you need to be detached with other people, that's fine. This is a season where people get really kind of lonely and detached and like on their own type of time. So just don't detach on like bad terms. Don't try to cut people down or anything like that. I feel like some people are going to get into arguments and family situations. Just be mindful with what you're saying, how you're saying it, why you feel like you need to say it that way. Like if it doesn't need to, if you don't have to say it in that specific tone that you're picking just because you're in that type of, like, just be mindful, okay? Now, with your solar plexus, you guys got the Knight of Swords, which is what I mean by you guys are like really kind of in a point where, again, you're setting an intention and you're almost like trying to run it over with your fire, with what you want. But at the same time, it's like you kind of gone through a beating, so it's just like you're trying to really like disconnect. but you're trying to really also address it. It's just like it's a really weird energy. It's almost like you've already read the book, but like in 5 seconds, and everybody's still catching up to what you've been saying, or what you said, and trying to basically understand what was going on. And you're already like, okay, well, I'm already over there, and I'm just like working on myself, and I'm trying to focus on this, so bye. Just be mindful. You do not want to have this type of energy in the solar plexus, because it makes you very vocal with your throat chakra space, which is why this is happening. It makes you very vocal, it makes you very snappy, it makes you not a pleasant person to be around. So just be mindful of how you're communicating. You want to make sure that what's in the solar plexus is a fire element, not necessarily a sword. You do not want to have swords in the solar plexus, because then your willpower is completely based on your thoughts. And if your willpower is not necessarily based on your passion for this month, then you're just gonna be extra snappy, extra short-handed with people. Like, it's gonna, you see how he's just like killing somebody? Like, it's just like a little bit unnecessary. Like, you don't need to run over anybody to get what you want, to set the intention that you want, to like proceed to succeed. Like, you don't need all of that, okay? You need to understand how to use your fire properly, and I feel like there's a lack in that. Like, it's just like, come back to yourself in a way. For your heart chakra, again, I feel like some of y'all really just release some relationships of such, and if you haven't, you might be going through this process during December. This is kind of, it's not necessarily the fullest negative energy in the heart chakra space. It's just mainly like, you might want to try something new. You might want to go for someone, or maybe you're attracted to somebody that you never would have been attracted to before. This could also have to do with money, because love and money are on the same vibration. So you could be trying some new financial ideas, business ideas that maybe you want to create and manifest, and that's how that seed is getting planted, which is not a negative thing. Again, just make sure that it's something that you actually want, that you love, that you're passionate about, because if you're not, then it's not going to work, okay? However, there's a lot of fresh energy in your heart space, and I feel like with as much stuff as you guys have going on, and without as much as you guys are being very reactive, you still have a very much like, restart, I'm pressing the refresh button, I'm starting over. That's what the mood is. That's how I'm feeling like, okay? With the throat chakra, we have the 9 of Wands, which means that if you guys are reacting, is because you're reacting based on the experiences that's been happening over the past couple of months. There is some like almost trauma built up with you guys. There's almost like this like PTSD, like, I'm just like, I'm a little beat, but you know what, I still got the fire. I'm still gonna fight for myself, whatever. And it's just like, you guys are a little beaten up, and as much as you guys are being reactive the way you are being reactive, people are gonna be able to tell if you're acting like this, if your voice is saying being like in this way, and then you're like alone in a corner, just like, you know, like by yourself, trying to be detached and all of these things. Like, you do not need to embrace this type of part of yourself. You are stronger, you are powerful, you are the leader of the zodiac. You lead every sign through the rest of the astrological journey. So there's a reason why you kind of have to make sure you come back to your power in releasing and making sure that, yes, things happen throughout the journey, but you don't let things beat you up this bad where you're just like being vocally toxic and just saying unnecessary things. You guys need a lot of self-care this month, and I can see that with the third eye. You guys need to connect back to your water, your emotions, which I feel like sometimes is really hard for Aries to do, to be quite honest. But there is a reason why this is in the third eye. There is a balance that comes out of your head and your fire when you tap into your emotions, because then you get to reconnect with the passion aspect. When Aries connects to their emotional element, the water element of things, you guys can then find your purpose through the fire again. You get to light that because you get to have that drive again. And it's really about balance. You guys really need to like self-care, treat yourself, buy yourself a gift. Like don't like downplay the importance of taking care of yourself, and kind of, if you need to be like detached just so you can take care of yourself, do that. But if you're gonna do this energy, do it at its best, not at its worst. You don't want to be that sign that just wants to be like really just uptight this month, okay? With the crown chakra, with strength and the 7 of wands, you guys are really coming out of a tough time, obviously. But again, it's about having that strength, reconnecting to the fire. This is Leo energy. This is that passion, that willpower energy. You want to make sure your willpower, your solar plexus, any fire sign in activating from pure solar plexus, from like pure passion, pure joy, pure drive, is moving from such a great place, because then they're able to really connect to that fire element, the journey. And this is what you guys really need to be doing this month. Is really about connecting to your strength, focusing on your healing. And this is why it came up the way it did with your oracle cards, healing the divine masculine. This is really some really root chakra healing, and you guys, I feel like you're setting an intention that's going to be able to add some healing to your root chakra. But you have to address this, and the dark mysteries don't just have to do with what's going on spiritually on the outside. Your darker self, your shadow self, those mysterious parts of yourself that have not been addressed affect you daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. You want to make sure that that is balanced, so you can have that fire back, so you can feel like, hey, I'm moving from being emotionally conscious, emotionally clear, mentally clear, spiritually clear. Like I feel great, I know where I'm going, I know what I'm doing. Like that takes work, that takes an investment. And this is really why this came out this way, safe travel and fire, because you have to reconnect with your fire. And I laughed when this jumped out, because I was like, as if they don't have enough fire already. But right now you're really navigating through a lower vibrational parts of yourself, and you could be better. You need to do better. You need to do better. Continue moving. The path ultimately is clear for you to set the intentions that you want to set and move through as you want. But as you go through this journey and you turn the corners and you turn into the roads that you want to turn to, you need to make sure that you're treating yourself to the highest standard, because in that way that can be reflected into your interactions with other people. Okay, so be better. I will see you guys in January. I love you guys. Okay, don't forget to subscribe,